everybody, and welcome back to another video. And if you're here for the very first time, you're really welcome and it's lovely to meet you. I'm Jane and my husband Mike is behind the camera. We're British, early retirees, debt and mortgage free, and living a thrifty, frugal and money saving life on a super tight budget here in Brittany in northwest France. And every Friday we bring you something food related. And today I've been cooking. I've made some really robust soups. Now sometimes when we think of soup we think of a starter, don't we, of a broth or a consommé. Well, we like soup to be the main event. So when I make soup, it's chunky, it's hearty, it's filling, and it's just right for this autumn weather too, isn't it? So I've made a lentil and ham hock soup. That was absolutely divine. And I also went on then made a leek and potato soup with crispy bacon on top. But you could always live off the crispy bacon, couldn't you? And you could make your own croutons and add those on top as well. And the lentil and ham hock soup, you could just make that vegetarian just by leaving out the ham hock. I really hope you enjoy the video today. If you do, hit the like button and I'm going to get cooking for you. Let's talk through my ingredients for my soup. So I have celery and I have onions. These are lovely local Roscoff pink onions, love them. And these are carrots. And they do a strange thing, they grow up on the coast and they grow in the sand. And they're really nice. Anyway, the easy thing to remember about this is 3, 2, 1. You'll need 3 strips of celery, and mine aren't very big or very wide, can you see? So I'm going to go 6, but if they were normal sizes it would be 3, 2, 1. 3 strips of celery, or 6 in my case because they're not very big, 2 carrots and 1 onion, and those will be finely chopped. You'll need some olive oil or butter or whatever you like to saute this in to begin with. It's a classic mirepoix or a sofrito, choose your language, I don't mind. And I'll put in about, nice big piece of garlic there, I'll put in 2 big fat cloves of garlic. I've then got big brown lentils here. I don't buy the little French lentils just because I already had these, but if I had no lentils, I would buy the little green French lentils. You're then going to need a tin of tomatoes. I've got some of my own that I canned in the summer. And this is the optional part, but this is the bit that makes all the difference. I've got here a smoked pork hock or a ham hock. So it's a bit like bacon. If you didn't have this, you could use chunks of smoky bacon. If you didn't have that, you could just use stock. You buy it in a jar, you buy it in a tin, however you buy it. I buy mine in these little stock pots. It's concentrated stock. Each one mixes with ½ litre, which is 500 mils or 2 cups of water. But I won't be using those because I'm going to be making my own stock. Now, if I was going to put this in a saucepan with 2 litres of water, or maybe even 3 litres of water, I would put that in a pan and cook that for 1.5 hours to 2 hours. But what I'm going to do with mine is stick mine in the instant pot with 2.5 litres of water, and I'm going to put it in the instant pot for 1 hour. I will then use the liquor from this, the liquid from this, to cook everything in. So you'll see me chop everything, and then you'll see me saute everything. This will cook. And then after that, I'll add the tomatoes, the stock from this, and all the meat off this as well. I'll pick all the meat off. I'll obviously pull the skin off this. I'll pull all the meat off it, chop it up finely, and add it to the soup. Now this is quite expensive. It's $4.75, and every single time I buy one of these, I absolutely cringe and go, "Oh my goodness me, that is so expensive." And then every time I eat it, I think that is absolutely worth it. So you'll need a tin of tomatoes, or you can see here I've got my own. You will need some pepper. I'm also going to put some thyme in mine. The thyme is optional. I've also seen recipes where people make a vegetarian version of this, and so to get the smoky flavour, instead of using the smoked bacon or the smoked ham hock, what they add in is smoked paprika. So you could do that instead. So I'm going to get this cooking in my Instant Pot for 1 hour. If you don't have an Instant Pot, like I said, you'll just put it in a pot, put the lid on it and cook it away gently for 2 hours. It should completely fall off the bone, and you keep all of the liquid to use in the soup. It just makes such a difference. And I am going to get cooking. So I'm going to let this cook away now for an hour, just gently. And you see here, if you wonder what I did, I also put the ham hock bone back in. There's loads and loads of flavour in that. And you can see the pieces of meat that I added in here. And the lentils will swell up. It's almost like it's almost a stew, isn't it? It's so thick and so hearty and just packed full of goodness. And if I run short, if it starts to get too low, I've always got a little bit more of the ham stock that I can add in. So there it is. I'm going to leave that to cook for 1 hour. So here is the finished soup, and I've got mine with some gluten-free bread. When I looked up this traditional French recipe, what they did is they took half of it and they blended it, which kind of thickens it. So if you imagine, I took about 3 ladles full, I put it in a jug, I blended it with my immersion stick, my immersion blender, and put it back in. So it's made it really, really, really thick and chunky, and there's mixed with some wholemeal bread. It's incredibly tasty. Imagine this chunky vegetable and lentil soup with a background of deep bacony flavour. It is absolutely lovely. Try the recipe, please let me know what you think about it. Do you have your version of ham hock and lentil soup? Because this has gone right to the top of my favourite soup list. My next soup in my 2 simple soups has got to be about the most simple and equally the most delicious soup ever. It's a leek and potato soup. And I have 3 leeks, I have a kilo of potatoes here, which will be about 3/4 of a kilo when peeled. I have 200 grams of lardons, and lardons are chunks of smoky bacon. I have butter, I have stock cubes, I will use 2 of them with 750 ml or 3 cups of this. 3 cups of stock. And I've got some creme fraiche, and I will use about half of that in the end of it to thicken it. And that's it. I'm going to slice and wash my leeks, peel and chop my potatoes, and then I'll tell you what I'm going to do next. I have peeled and chopped my potatoes, and I'm going to cook these until they are soft in salted water. I'm going to add probably about 100 grams of butter to my washed and sliced leeks, and I'm going to saute them down until they're really soft. And then when they're completely soft, I will add in the chicken stock and continue to cook those. And then when the leeks are completely cooked and the potatoes are completely cooked, they'll all be combined. And I'll show you the next step after this. My potatoes are cooking away. They are certainly not soft yet, but my leeks are. So my leeks have reduced down and sweated down in the butter. And now I shall add in the chicken stock and let them continue cooking in the stock. I'm going to put the lid on those and let them gently cook, probably for about another 10 minutes. My leeks have now completely cooked until they're soft. I sauteed them first and then I cooked them in the chicken stock. I'm going to add in my potatoes. It's a very thick soup, and I'm going to let this cook away now for about 10 more minutes. And whilst that's cooking, I will saute my lardons. And here is the finished leek and potato soup with crispy lardons. The lardons take quite a time to cook. You really do have to render all the fat out of it. But of course I pop in a little cup and pop it in the fridge and use it for some other cooking purposes. So the bacon is crispy and the potatoes and leeks and cream and butter. So how French is that? All of those combinations. This is not something you'd eat more than once in a while. But it's so creamy, it is so soft. Now most people would use a blender and blend the soup, but we quite like it like this. It's very soft. It's so thick and it's so delicious. And it's now our dinner time. They were, I promise you, absolutely delicious. And each of those that I made, we had soup one day and then we had them reheated for lunches the following few days. Both of them freeze really well. They're great, aren't they? You can make these in advance, pop them in the freezer. You can also put them in a tub with a sealed lid on top. They'll keep a couple of days in the fridge for you to reheat as well. So we hope that you get to try these, and if you do, leave me a message sometime, maybe now or maybe in the future if you get to make them. If you enjoyed the video, go on, hit the like button. We read every single one of your comments. We love to hear from you. And if you're not a subscriber, come on, join the Frugal family, and we'll see you soon. Thanks again, and bye-bye.